discuss a topic with you that I'm getting asked about all the time. And literally, we get about 1,000 questions a week on my website, and I'd say this is the dominant one. By the way, that website is edmilet.com. There's 288,000 people that have joined this year. Come do it as well. Hopefully, once in a while, we bring you something that's of value or inspiration. It's free. I don't make any money from it. I just want to help you. Also, you can follow me on Twitter if you want. A few 100,000 people do that as well. And every once in a while, hopefully, I'm saying something there that's of some value as well. So the topic we get asked all the time about, though, is building and developing leaders. Whether you're in my firm or another firm, it's the topic most asked about. And it's a difficult topic. Nobody's an expert at it, but you can become proficient at it. Building leaders is difficult. If it weren't difficult, it wouldn't pay millions of dollars. If you can get good at it, you'll be a millionaire. Also, it's important because leaders are what change everything in the world. They change countries, they change communities, they change churches, companies, they change families. Great leaders are what cause all great change in the world. And so if you can get great at that, not only are you going to make millions of dollars, but you're going to be contributing to positive change in the world and be a force for good. And so it's worth getting good at. It is both an art and a science. There's an art form because you're dealing with human beings, and so there's always an artistic approach to it, but there's also a scientific approach too, which is what I want to discuss, which is really 3 or 4 ideas with you. Number one concept I want you to write down is congruency. To be congruent is to be a great leader. Congruency means that you do what you say you're going to do, that you are what you tell people to be. And you're the old analogy of you're an example worth copying. And so your personal example screams so loud, people don't hear much of what you say. Any of you that have kids, and I do, I know for a fact they hear some of the stuff I say, but man, do they notice every single thing I do. And I know yours do as well, and so will people with you in business. You can say all the great speeches in the world, have all the great training in the world, but if you're not setting the pace, if you're not setting an example, if you're not a catalyst in your own organization, if you're not the most productive salesperson, if you're not the most recruiting recruiter, if you're not the most hardworking and put in the most hours, you will not develop great people around you. So be congruent. That's number one. Number two, foster independence in people. Never do things for them they should do for themselves. The way identity changes in people is they are asked to do something, they do that task, they learn and grow from it, and then they get recognized for it. And when someone gets recognized for it and grow, their identity changes and they're always better. They don't get better by watching, they get better by doing. In fact, I'm notorious in my company for not speaking at meetings or negotiating myself off of agendas, or at least negotiating the time down which I speak, which is polar opposite of most of my peers, frankly, who are putting themselves on agendas and want more time. And really, I think that's an ego thing. I think if you're putting yourself on the agenda all the time, we have some people in business that we think are great leaders, but what they're really doing is elevating themselves, be more like me, here's how great I am, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't change you. It just makes you think better of them, and it makes them feel good about themselves. Great leaders are behind the scenes. Great leaders are elevating other people and putting them out there. And I try to do that. I don't know that I've always been great at building leaders, but I certainly have been one of the better ones in my company of all time. And I've learned from the mistakes I and others have made. So put your folks up there. For example, if we went to the gym and I taught you how to lift all the weights, you knew how to lift every single weight in the gym. I taught you exactly how to do it. But then when we get there, I lifted them all. Who gets stronger? Me, not you. You get stronger when you lift the weights. And so I've got to get you lifting the weights so that you grow and change. And so that's my focus as a leader as well, as fostering independence. Don't do things for them. Don't answer questions. Don't get stuff done for them they should do for themselves, because you're cheating them out of the opportunity to grow. If my son Max, who's 14, who I want to be a strong, contributory, good man in the world, if every time he had a test at school I took it for him, well, then he doesn't get any better. He's not challenged. He doesn't grow. He doesn't get recognition. Or Bella, my 12-year-old daughter, if every time she had a speech I gave it for her, how does she get better? But yet in business, I see people make that mistake all the time. I think it's out of ego. I think it's also out of lack of believing in people or respecting people, which is number 3. Number 3, you've got to give people massive belief. You've got to be giving belief to them and truly looking at them and finding their giftedness and what they're special. Every human being was born with God in them, with Christ in them, with blessings in them that are unique to them, whether it's their communication ability or their nurturing skills or math skills or intensity or passion or character or ability to close sales or whatever it might be. They're proficient. They have a giftedness. When you find that in somebody and then you tell them all the time how much you believe in them and how great they're going to be because of this giftedness and blessing, they really already intuitively know they have, and you link it to winning in your business, they win. So give them belief. If you really believe in somebody, you'll put them, I really believe in my son. Now my job is to do number 4 with them when they have those tests or when they go to the gym, which is you must equip people. You must equip people. You must teach them to close if that's in your business. You must teach them the words. They must understand your system. They must equip people. So when Max does have that test, my job's not to take it for him, but my job is absolutely to be a great example. My job is to foster independence and have him take the test. My job is to tell him how much I believe in him and how smart he is, and he's going to do well because he's worked so hard and he's got such natural work skills and he's a good man, so he deserves to win. And then 4, I equip him. I help him study. We role play. We go back and forth. We do the flashcards. I equip him behind the scenes, and then I let him go test. And I let him get the recognition. I let him win. I let his identity grow. If Bella's got a speech, what am I going to do with her? I'm going to be a great example myself of somebody who prepares. I'm going to be a dad who gets her to be independent. I'm going to be somebody who tells her how much I believe in her, what a great speaker she is, and how pretty she is, and how good she looks, and what a great job she's going to do. I'm going to believe in her and tell her it's one of her great gifts is her passion, right? And her light, which is true in her. And then 4, I equip her. I practice the speech with her. We go back and forth so she's prepared. And that's what we do to build a great leader, are those 4 things, just like raising our children. We want to be congruent. We want to be a great personal example. We want to foster independence in them, right? We want to believe in them and tell them how much we believe in them over and over and over and link their natural giftedness to winning in that business. And then 4, we want to equip them. And if we do those 4 things, we have a real chance to build a leader.